Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Nze omumbeja luwedde Lilian mbaniriza maka gaffe amajja era nga wano tugenda okuba nga tukolera programu yaffe emanyiddwa nga The Voltage gaba masanyalaze gennyini era nga twogera ku bintu ebyenjawulo omonno mwe muli ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga, ensonga z'ebyobufuzi n'obukulembeze bw'eggwanga Uganda, twogera ku nsonga ez'abavubuka, eddembe ly'obuntu awamu n'ebyenkulaakulana. Togisubwa buli lunaku olwokutaano eba ssaawa emu ey'akawungeezi paka ssaawa 3 ez'ekiro.
The Diaspora Link buli lwakuna ssaawa 11 paka ssaawa 1 ey'olweggulo ye program gye tukuleetedde wano ku Alternative Digital Uganda. Tugenda batutunulira embeera z'Abannayuganda baganda baffe bannyinaffe zibawangaaliramu mu mawanga ag'ebunaayira. Bangi banyigirizibwa, bangi bakosebwa, bangi bayisiddwamu amaaso. Naye tugenda batutunulira engeri gye tusobola okulongosaamu embeera zaabwe. Tugenda kuba tulaba abo abakwatibwako abateekeddwa okuba nga balongoosa embeera zino eno. Tosubwa buli lwakuna n'omuweerezaawo Nixon Segawa.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdulatif and I welcome you to the Hotline Show here at the Alternative Dig Talk as we discuss issues of national importance. Join us every Monday 7 to 9 p.m. and see who will be occupying these seats here with us. Keep it Dig Talk, real issues, real talk.
Schools are open. Parents, guardians, have you prepared your adolescents that are pregnant and mothers for school? The government has given us national guidelines to assist with the responsibility of sending these girls back to school. Let us help to provide them with a safe, productive and friendly environment for their learning. They are still our children living among us in our communities. Their pregnancies, becoming mothers before adulthood, affects them, their community and our nation. All children have a right to education. Now, let's take them back to school because completing their primary and secondary school education is very important to their future careers, personal development and being productive citizens of our nation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Yes, edakika zizo ziwezenya ezakaita kusawa emu eyokumakya mbaniriza nno ku program The Mighty Driver manyanze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga okubanga mbaweereza amakyago olunaku olwalero. Ennaku z'omwezi lumu omwezi gwa February oba mwezi gwa 2 omwaka 2022 era mbaniriza nnyo ddala mmwe buli omu atulaba yonna gy'otulabira amakyago olunaku olwalero. Mu abatulabira wabweru w'eggwanga mu mawanga nga Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain n'amawanga agaliraanyewo ngamba United Arab Emirates, mwebale kubanga muli tuned ino olunaku olwalero. Tulina abantu bangi abatulabira ku side eyo eya ensi eno. Tulina abantu abatulabira mu South Africa, tulina n'abantu abatulabira wano ku lukalu lwaffe olwa Africa mu Ethiopia na buli omu atulaba olunaku olwalero. Nammwe mu abali wano ewaka e Kampala, Uganda, yes mwebale nnyo kubanga mutulaba olunaku olwalero. Makya malungi, nja kuba mbabuulira ensonga lwaki wano tuli basanyufu era kibeera kya ssanyu nnyo buli lunaku we tubeera nga tusobola okusanyukamu mpola. It's not every day that you'll be a bit happy or get good news. Olunaku lw'eggulo omwami Luther Ferdinand, member wa the Alternative Uganda ne the Alternative Dig Talk, abamutadde okuva ekitali ajabadde amaze omwaka ogwadde guweru mulamba. Jjukira omwami Luther Ferdinand yakwatibwa ennaku z'omwezi omwezi gwali guno gwennyini in fact mu February omwaka guli oguwedde agenza okuba nga afuluma mu kkomera ng'abadde awezezza omwaka mulamba. Yatambulako abaddeko wali emakindye ne bamuggyako emakindye ne bamutwala ekitalya era badde bamukomezaawoko emakindye kwegamba omwami Luther Ferdinand baali bamujetekako emisango nno egiwera omwali okubanga yayina akakofiira akamyufu oba military fatigue akakofiira ka people power naye era mu bifaananyi singa wabiraba akakofiira kano teyakayina. Omwami ono kyeyali akola yali akutte effigy eky'omukulembeze w'eggwanga ng'akikuba emiggo nga alaga obutali bumativu bwe wakati mu city center mu mbeera etaali gy'osobola kugamba mbu nno eri violent or anyway embeera eno ebadde yagikola mu mbeera eri peaceful. It was just a peaceful protest nga wemulabaawo omwami ng'akuba effigy oba kyonayitange oba ekibumbe ekya President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Bwabura. Yes, yakwatibwa mu mwezi ogwo gwali gwakubiri n'atwalibwa ekitalya prison. Yasooka atwalibwa emakindye then n'aggyibwayo n'atwalibwa ekitalya n'amala n'azzibwayo ko emakindye gy'abadde aweremba n'emisango mu General Court Martial eri chaired by omwami Lieutenant General Andrew Guti. So yoyo Luther Ferdinand bamutadde olunaku lw'eggulo bamutadde ku non-cash bail ya millions 25 ez'obutaliiwo era ajja kubanga aweremba n'emisango gino ng'ava wabweru wa kkooti. Lyo kino ekintu ekyabaddewo kitusanyudde okugamba nti comrade afulumyeyo era kibeera kya ssanyu okumanya nti n'omwami aba afulumye wabweru okubanga anyumirwa naye emirembe gye kubanga bintu bingi nno omanyi mu ggwanga lino abantu aboogere oba abalaga obutali bumativu bwabwe batera nnyo okubanga bayisibwa mu mbeera etali ennungi. So Luther Ferdinand nga wemulaba ne mu kifaananyi ekyo kyennyini singa producer Adamu n'akibalaga talina kakofiira ke baali bagamba aka people power ka red beret sikalabawoko ne bakolaga ebifaananyi byonna video yonna tugina live coverage ebintu ebyo ngeri gye byabeerawo naye omwami oyo teyalina ka red beret naye omusango gwe bamuteekekako nno gwegwo era ekirungi Council Aaron Kiza nabadde bagezaako kubanga bamuwolereza omwami no basecurinze bail ye era ajja kubanga aweremba n'emisango gino ng'ava wabweru wa ekkomera. So yoyo mwami Luther Ferdinand era tukwaniriza yoga mukulu Luther era tusanyusa okubanga okomyewo okubeerako naffe okulya ku ttooke ne kukakoko mpola mpola tunyumirwe obulamu. Thank you. You're welcome back, Mr. Luther Ferdinand. Congratulations to the Alternative Dictok and to you as an individual. Thank you so much. You know, story ebadde etandisa amawulire gaffe ag'olunaku olwaleero just okubajjukizaamu omukutu baguyita The Alternative Dictok ne page gye tuliko bagiyita The Alternative Uganda tubaweereza to redefining the social media narrative nti kati twasalawo okubanga tubaweereza mu masimu gammwe online wenyini muba mutudde oba obeera mu taxi oba osobola okubanga otugoberera oba oli wako osobola okutugoberera oba oli mu kitanda kyo osobola okubanga otugoberera oba osamba ne ku mupiira osobola okubanga otugoberera mpola mpola because twagala kukyusa engeri gye ba broadcastinga mu ggwanga lino tulage nga tubawa amawulire amatuufu amawulire amalungi ate nga tugabeera at the comfort of your hands or at the comfort of your home. So olunaku lwayo tulina omwami bamuyita Roy Rugumayo. Roy Rugumayo ye Secretary General w'ekibiina kino ekya UNSA ekigatta aba students bonna mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda. Agenda kuba atunyonyola biki ebiri e Makerere eyo twawuliddeko nga waliwo obutabanguko obutakwatagana okuggala kwa university ebigambo bingi ebibadde biwungeesebwa ku ssettendekero wa Makerere University jukino essettendekero asinga obukulu ddala mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda era tubadde twagala kutumanya amazima kiki kyennyini ekigenda mu maaso wali ku Makerere University ate ne ba students basobola batya okufindinga a common ground gwe mulamwa gwaffe ogw'olunaku olwayo gwe tugenda okubanga tugoberera hashtag eri #TheMightyDrive ku Facebook ku Twitter na ku buli mukutu omulala kozesa hashtag eyo tubuulire gwe kikyolowooza ba students n'aba university ya Makerere basobola batya okufuna consensus basobola batya okukwatagana okulaba nga batwala institution eno mu maaso. Juke institution eno ya Makerere University ebadde mpola mpola ebadde ogiraba nti egenda eggwa egenda eluzinga value egenda eluzinga quality era wogamba mbu ssettendekero Makerere University akyali ssettendekero asinga mu ggwanga lino wali abajja okugamba ebintu ebirala kubanga kitandise okulabika nti abasajja bano aba Makerere University ine engeri gyegenda edibagwamu egenda egwa mpola mpola ate institution west okugwa tosobola kitegeera mu lunaku lumu it takes time otandika okukyetegereza nga ate amazima batandise okubanga bakola ki institution already yagudde ogenda kirealize nga yagwadda tesobola kugwa mulundi gumu. So olunaku lwa leero y'emboozi gye tugenda okubanga tugoberera wano ku mukutu gwa alternative digital. Amanya nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga okubanga mbaweereza kanyingireko ku mawulire agasinze okutambula mu ggwanga Uganda ne wabweru w'eggwanga. Nina amawulire mangi agabadde mu ggwanga lyaffe lino era munzikirize ntandikirewo tutandikire wali ekyotera mu kaalo ke bayita Kijonjo A ne B. Omanyi waliwo ebyalo kimu ye Kijonjo A ne Kijonjo B awo mu Kyotera district waliwo ekirwadde ekibaluseewo ekitanategeerekeka. A new disease has broken out in this particular region. Abantu 20 be baakafa nga bafa ekirwadde kino. Ekirwadde kino tebanaya kubanga bakidiagnosing okutegeera kirwadde ki. Ekirwadde kino kiri characterized by okusesema oba vomiting, then diarrhea, simanyi ngeri gye nsobola kinyonyola mu Luganda, then waliwo ne bleeding oba okuvaamu omusaayi mungi. Ezo nno ze characteristics za kino ekirwadde. Then bonna de bakifa nga babeera n'omutwe ogubaluma, then balina n'obuzimba oba bayita swellings ezibadde zibeerawo mpola mpola. So mu ngeri eyo ekirwadde kino tebanaba kubanga bategeera kirwadde ki, era ne Ministry of Health tenaba kufuluma kutugamba oba kukola comprehensive research, ne Uganda Virus Institute tenaba kubanga etuwa mawulire okumanya kino kirwadde ki ekitandise okubanga kiruma abasajja ab'omu the Great Masaka region. According to reports oba according to abatuuze aba ekyalo kino ekyakyotera aba Kijonjo B ne Kijonjo A wano mu Kyotera district bavudde ne batugamba nti ekirwadde kino kyakatwala obulamu bw'abantu 20 ate nga bonna tewali gavumenti yeyavuddeyo kubanga ebagamba, era batandise okubanga bakozesa herbal medicine oba eddagala ly'ekinnansi okulaba engeri gye basobola okubanga beewonyaamu nno bano abantu oba Ekijonjo oba mu Kyotera district. So gavumenti na buli omu gwe kikwatako ndowooza amakanda twalibadde tugasiima mu region eno okumanya nti kino ekirwadde kiva ku ki ate tusobole okubanga tukyeprotectinga kubanga tukyekuumako mu ngeri eri awo bwetyo. So ndowooza ab'ebyobulamu tusimbukiremu tutandike okwogera ku ki ekigenda mu maaso mu Kyotera. Abantu b'Ekyotera bo bakwetaga. Gwe yakanneegattako oli ku program bagita Mighty Drive, amanya nze Edgar kubanga nkuweereza, then tukyali mawulire agasinze okubanga gakwata abantu omubabiri olunaku lw'ejjo n'olunaku olwaleero ba wiiki eno yennyini. Ekabaale mu kuziika kwa eyali Governor wa Bank of Uganda omwami tumusiime Emmanuel Mutebire, nno kinnuma okubanga ogamba eyali, yes kubanga kati yava mu bulamu bw'ensi eno. Eyali Governor wa Bank of Uganda omwami tumusiime Mutebire yaziikibwa olunaku lwa Sunday wiiki eno yennyini eyali etandika. Okuva we yaziiki kuziika kwe waliwo nno chairman LC5 owa Kabale yasaba gavumenti ekifo kino ekyaba Bank of Uganda bakidesignating kibenga kiweebwa abantu okuva mu Kabale oba tugambe oba abakiga because be batera okuva mu that part of the country. So mu ngeri eyo gavumenti yo abantu bangi nno badde bayogera bintu bingi, buli omu ayogera kike ku nsonga eno. Abamu bagamba ate kati omulimu gwa gufuuse gwa region nti oba Bank of Uganda bulina kuva wano wokka, ate abalala bagamba ba economists abazaalibwa bonna banaazaalibwanga mu Kabale yokka. So mu ngeri eyo LC5 kirabika ye adda ayagala kukisusa nga enjogera bweri ennaku zino y'abavubuka LC5 ow'ekitundu kino ekya Kabale yavuddeyo n'asaba gavumenti ebenga ekifo kino ekyobwa Governor Bank of Uganda babe nga bakirekera abantu abava ku eyo paati oba mu ekyo ekitundu eky'Ekabale. Naye this is one of those requests that are really impractical. Tekisoboka kubanga competence is not based by region, is not based by tribe. Competence is based by a person. Okubanga omuntu asobola okukola ekintu tekiba nti buli ava mu kino ekifo asobola okukola kino ekintu. No, kitwala kubeera ng'oli mukenkufu mu kyokola. So mu abatulaba sooka weekenkula obeere nga oli mukenkufu mu kintu kyokola, then n'omuntu ali asobola okulaba n'agamba n'omuntu mukenkufu mu kino kyakola katumuwa omulimu. Tebasobola kuwa mulimu basing on tribe and region. Though this is Africa, things happen vice versa or in different ways. Katufulumeko wabweru w'eggwanga tugendeko mu muzannyo guno ogw'omupiira. Mu abagoberera omuzannyo gw'omupiira waliwo omuvubuka gwe bayita Mason Greenwood musambi wa tiimu eno ya Manchester United, mwana muvubuka wa myaka 21 avudde mu academy ya Manchester United ng'asamba omupiira n'asamba mulungi nnyo, naye gy'akomye okubanga asamba omupiira omulungi gy'akomye okubanga n'ebintu bino eby'abakyala watera nnyo okubyagala. Omwaka oguwedde baali bazanya Euros mu 2020, in fact yali 2021, yes, Euros 2020 naye nga bazanya mu 2021. We baali bazanya Euros, omwana ono Phil Foden yaleeta abakyala mu Mason Greenwood yaleeta abakyala mu nkambi, yali ne munne gwe bayita Phil Foden, bavubuka nno bato. Okuva olwo omwana ono amawulire g'abakyala go tegatera kubanga gamwesulubabba, kubanga weekend gye tutandise waliwo omukyala eyalaze ebifaananyi wali ku Instagram ng'alaga nti yakubiddwa. Omukyala ono ng'agamba bino ebintu bye mulaba omuntu eyankubye nga yenna omusaayi gutiirika, ng'agamba ono bamuyita Mason Greenwood ye yantuusizzaako embeera eno. Mason Greenwood yakubye eyali girlfriend we oba girlfriend we gwe badde bamanyi, yamukubye empi according to reports because tewali yakakasiza mawulire gano, naye ate we tugambira mbu maybe gayinza okuba matuufu kuba wetwogerera nga club ye eya Manchester United yamaze dda okuba nga emususpendinga Mason Greenwood asobole okuba nga anoonyerezebwako. Yegasse ku basambi nga Benjamin Mendy ow'eggwanga lino ewa ttiimu eno eya Manchester City, era naye gwe bateekako emisango gy'okuba nga yagezaako okuliisa amaanyi oba bakiyita rape, yagezaako okukwata abakyala n'amaanyi. So mu ngeri eyo kikulaga aba professional footballers bano be bayitamu. Mason Greenwood myaka 21 naye already ali mu controversies zino weziti, n'abeera atya ku myaka 30 ndowooza. Mason Greenwood ku lwa talent ye n'ekitiibwa kye, bino ebintu birina okuba nga bikendeera mu ngeri eyo. So Mason Greenwood ye club yamaze dda okuba nga emususpendinga nga wanoonyerezebwako ab'obuyinza mu ggwanga lino erya Bungereza. Ndoza tuveekakaawo tugendeko ku omwami Fred Enanga. Olunaku lw'eggulo nga mukimanyi buli Monday poliisi etera okukola wali press conference enaggulu. Fred Enanga yafulumye n'akakasa nti n'agamba retired Colonel Dr. Abikiriza Besigye nti bawulira ebintu byali mu kwogerako ebyokuba nga agenda kuba nga yeekalakaasa, ng'agamba yabyogeredde ku mukutu ogumu ogwa National Broadcasting Services oba NBS we yabadde ku programu ey'okumakya gye batera okuyita Morning Breeze. Retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye yakakasiza eggwanga nti bagenda kuba nga bakola zino ze yayise okwekalakaasa oba batera kiyita I don't know how okwekalakaasa. Yes, mukutegeeza omukulu retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye yagambye mbu bagenda kubanga bakola strikes. Yes, kyekigambo kye badde nnoonya, oba okwekalakaasa kugenda kubanga kugenda mu maaso whether nga waali oba taliiwo. So police nga eyogererwa commissioner wa police omwami Fred Enanga yavuddeyo nayo n'eraga oludda lwayo n'egamba tegenda kubanga ekkiriza omwami ono okubanga akola okwekalakaasa kwonna oba strikes zonna, ng'agamba bamwerinze era bajja kubanga bakola kyonna kye basobola okubanga eggwanga litebenkera mirembe. Era mu press conference eyo omwami Fred Enanga yavuddeyo naye era n'akakasa eggwanga nti no tulina okubeera ku bwerinde, obutujju bukyaliwo wadde ennaku zaali 74 emabega Uganda yafuna bomu wali ku Digital Pork Joint yatwala obulamu bw'omukyala omu, era twaddamu okulaba bomu endala ku bus ya Swift Safaris yali egenda erukunjiri. So okuva olwo bomu ez'enjawulo zibadde poliisi ebadde ekola buli kimu ekyesobola oba buli mitendera egy'enjawulo okubanga ereeta okuwanga ekuuma Abannayuganda n'ebintu byabwe. So ekakasiza Abannayuganda nti terror alert ekyalina okuba nga egendebwa mu maaso kirina okuba nga efollowingibwa because abantu anytime basobola okuba nga bafa oba nga babategamu kabbomu mpolampola. Era omwami Fred Enanga n'agamba ku bano abadigize bano batera okubeera mu mabaala President Museveni bayogera kunagamba beekuume strict security ebeerewo kubanga obutujju bwo bukyaliwo. Ojjukira Kenya baji alatinze abasajja aba UNSA nga bagigamba eyinza okuba nga egenda kulumbibwa abatujju anytime soon. So excuse me, so babenga beekuuma mpola mpola okubanga babeera ku bwerinde. Jjukira Kenya webeera n'obuzibu ne Uganda wano tubeera n'obuzibu because everything ebikumpi ebintu byetusinga okukozesa biyita wali ku mwalo gw'e Mombasa, era tukwatagana nnyo n'eggwanga lino erya Kenya. ndoza nga maliriza kanjogereko ku omwami Muhoozi Kainerugaba olunaku lwabadde lweggulo yamiitinzeeko Ethiopian ambassador wano mu ggwanga era n'ayogerako naye okulaba engeri gye banasobola okuba nga bakyusa ebigenda mu maaso. Yoyo Muhoozi ne ambassador wa Ethiopia mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda. So Muhoozi Kainerugaba bwatyo bwe yamiitinze ono omukyala ambassador wa Ethiopia ne bagamba bali mu kwogera ku ngeri gye basobola okuba nga eggwanga lino balitereeza n'engeri gye basobola amawanga abiri okuba nga gakwataganamu okulaba nga garikinga goals zaabwe ez'enjawulo. Muhoozi Kainerugaba nno yakava e Rwanda we yayogerera n'omukulembeze w'eggwanga eryo lyennyini bamuyita President Paul Kagame gwe yayogera naye ate ekyaleetawo nno ebintu ebyenjawulo okola olunaku lwennyini Muhoozi lwe yavaayo n'omusirikale wa SFC eyali yakwatibwa mu ggwanga lino erya Rwanda ng'asibiddwa okumala emyezi 2. Muhoozi Kainerugaba yavaayo naye teyavaayo n'ekyo kyokka, yavaayo n'okuli openinga border because soon we bamala okwogera basobola okuba nga bali openinga border ennaku z'omwezi zaali 31 omwezi guno gwennyini olunaku lweggulo border zagguddwawo eza Rwanda courtesy of Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Muhoozi Kainerugaba ye komanda w'amagye g'okutaka ate era ye mutabani w'omukulembeze w'eggwanga lino Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni. Ndowooza nno ge amawulire agasinga okuba nga gatambula mu ggwanga. Maybe okwogerako ekiri e Burkina Faso omusango gwa Thomas Sankara eyali omukulembeze waabwe yasookera kumpi ddala gwasobodde okuba nga gugobebwa. Tegwagobeddwa, gwabadde suspended okuva abaana abasajja be bakwata obuyinza. Jjukira twogerera nga waliwo coup d'etat eyali mu ggwanga lino erya Burkina Faso era abannamagye bakwata obuyinza era bakwata n'ekibuga wali ekya Ouagadougou. So mu Burkina Faso omusango gwa Thomas Sankara gukyayimiriziddwamu tegugenda kubanga guwulirwa paka nga judicial system zizzeewo bulungi omusango guno gube nga guliwa. Jjukira ono omwami Thomas Sankara yakubibwa amasasi agamujja mu budde omwaka gwali gwa 1987. Y'omu ku bakulembeze Africa be yali etunuulidde okuba nga bakyusa olukalu luno omwami Thomas Sankara. Musajja yali muvubuka nnyo, musajja yali w'amaanyi nnyo, yali alwanya entalo ze nnyingi naye bambi bwatyo bwe yafa n'ava mu bulamu bw'ensi. Abasajja bennyini omusajja nno bagamba nti eyamuddira mu bigere ye musajja yennyini kyaliwe nfanfe gwe yali akolanga naye gwe yali atula naye awo gwe baawamba obuyinza gwe baava ewala gwe baakula wamu mu nnyumba y'emu ye yakwata n'amugja mu bulamu bw'ensi eno naye ensi eno yeeba nzibu. So omusango gwe gukyayimiriziddwamu okuba nga guwulirwa wali mu ggwanga erya Burkina Faso. Bannange kankomaawo wadde waliwo cannibalism egenda mu maaso mu Rakai district era bannange mwerinde abantu b'e Rakai, abantu b'eyo beeyongedde okuba nga balya abantu. Nja kuba mbabuulira amawulire ne special report eyo ku cannibalism egenda mu maaso mu ggwanga eryo erya Rakai mu district eyo eya Rakai district. So thank you so much for watching the Mighty Drive. Katumulemu katono wetukomawo Roy Rugumayo agenda kuba neegattako ne Farida Bikobere tutandika okunyumya emboozi y'aba students n'eya Makerere University okulaba engeri gye tusobola okukyusa lino eggwanga. Mwebale kubanga mwekumidde ku Mighty Drive. Amannya Edgar Matthew Karanga. Leka tuwumulemu wetukomawo tutandikirawo wennyini.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Schools are open. Parents, guardians, have you prepared your adolescents that are pregnant and mothers for school? The government has given us national guidelines to assist with the responsibility of sending these girls back to school. Let us help to provide them with a safe, productive, and friendly environment for their learning. They are still our children, living among us in our communities. Their pregnancies, becoming mothers before adulthood, affects them, their community, and our nation. All children have a right to education. Now, let's take them back to school because completing their primary and secondary school education is very important to their future careers, personal development, and being productive citizens of our nation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Digital. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Digital. Digital, the way to go.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Yes, welcome back from that short commercial break. 27 minutes past the top of the hour. You are watching the Mighty Drive Show. And my name is Karuhanga Edgar Matthew. I've already been joined by one people's favorite, Farida Vikovere. Tell you what. Why am I laughing? Thank you for looking smart, Farida.
Thank you.
Whoever is taking care of you is taking care of you in a very good way.
That is a very wrong mindset.
Hey.
I'm taking care of my own self.
Wow.
You should stop attaching people's
Looking
to
some. But that is what they tell us.
Credit should always go to them.
But why? That's why they tell us. They tell you when Karuhanga looks good, they say, "Eh, bana yende nakuzina kufako afawo bulungi."
And it is because men in African culture don't take care of themselves because they assume you have a woman.
Okay.
But for us women,
And
it is very normal for us to take care of ourselves because we know the cause. We make money nowadays.
My dear, say some women. Because now, if you contextualize and say all women, the general perspective is that men are the ones that take care of the women, right? So there must be some.
That is the general perspective that is wrong.
Okay. But these days, women are doing a lot of good. Thank you for taking care of yourself. You look nice.
and don't say it in a sarcastic way.
No, it's not sarcastic, by the way. It's actually serious. You're looking nice. If you think I'm lying, let's ask the viewers. They'll tell you. Oh, let's ask Roy here. How is she looking?
She looks well.
Well.
I will not go into
Like someone.
I prefer not to indulge.
Good morning, Edgar.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, our viewers. Morning, Roy.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to the drive.
Oh,
it is
thank
the
you so
second
much.
time. We have a lot of questions. There is a way you were promising us. You wait. It is just our first month in office. You wait. It is now how many months?
We took oath on 4th December. So on 4th January, we marked our first month. Now
Marking the second
we are going to mark the second
But there
month.
was the other month that you were in office and you had not taken oath.
Sworn.
Yes.
But then we were not operating in any official capacities. We were just Roy Rugumayo, a student, and the rest. So we started operating with stamps and office space and all that on 4th December.
How is life?
I think that is how the system of Africa is. Seven tells you, from 1986 to 95, we were not working officially. We were just so it's the same story. You know. No, we were not working officially, but we were there. We didn't have the stamps. It's okay. It's just African setting. Yeah.
So thank you for having me yet again. We had agreed with Farida to host us after marking 100 days in office.
Yes.
By the way.
But it's still well that we have. Yeah, so it is very okay that we appreciate that we've been given this space yet again to share with the students of the country and with our dear viewers about matters that are shaping education and any other political matters that we can discuss about, because students also operate in a national context, so there are other issues that also shape education that are not necessarily education related.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thank you, Matthew and Tim and Farida, for having me yet again.
Yeah, we thank you for always honoring our invitation as well. Talking about the national context, we have a lot of things. We have a lot of torture going on of some victims. Yesterday, NUP, aligned a gentleman who was really someone you felt bad for, according to what he had been through. We are going to also talk to Luther Ferdinand. He was released yesterday. Maybe he will also tell us what he has been through that year. But, in the Ugandan context, a lot of things happen. But before we go there, let's start off the discussion with what is happening in Makerere. There is a lot of words going on, but it's not becoming volatile. It's just a lot of, I don't know, it's tense. What's happening there?
Well, we do hope that at no single time does it go volatile. As the Uganda National Students Association, we are closely following the happenings at Makerere University. We are following the engagements between the student leadership and the administration about the various issues that our students at Makerere are raising. And we are hopeful that as Makerere is celebrating 100 years of existence and of Black excellence, they are awake to the realities of their main stakeholders, who are students. I believe that Makerere should have trust in the abilities of its students to take caution in the face of this receding pandemic and be able to stay safe while in their pursuit for academic achievement in that university. The president of the country promised that in January 2022, whether vaccinated or not, there will be a full reopening of all institutions and the entire economy.
Yes.
And
which he actually did.
Yes. He kept his word. Everywhere it is open, taxis are operating at full capacity, buses, chikubo, everywhere.
The bars.
Yeah, even concerts. Yesterday I saw Azawi in Gulu. Very happy people, and it shows that we are returning stronger after 2 years of lockdown. So we call upon Makerere to do the same as it competes with Witwatersrand, with the University of Cape Town and other universities around the world. We would like to let Makerere be awake to the fact that they are not operating at half capacity. They are open full blast, and chasing academic endeavors. And that's all the students.
Just to ask Roy.
That's all the students are asking for.
It is only one issue that is causing disagreements between the administration and the students' body.
Yes, the administration is saying we shall open in phases. We shall open in a staggered way.
What are the reasons the administration is giving for not fully reopening the university?
Because there must be some.
Yeah.
I have followed the engagements, but I have not seen any legitimate concerns raised by the administration
There
about
should be
this
concerns,
matter.
whether legitimate as you would prefer calling them or not.
I've not seen any concerns. All they are saying is that they are not fully prepared to handle full capacity because of the spaces and all that. They want to still practice social distancing, and they will open fully when 100% of the students are vaccinated. But I think it is illogical. I think it is easier to vaccinate students when they are at campus,
Yeah, true.
when they are concentrated in their halls of residence, in their colleges, in their schools, and in the various social gatherings. It is easier to coordinate this vaccination than when they are scattered all over the country, than when you tell them to come for 6 weeks and go away. Okay? There are students coming from all over.
Yes.
Yes, the other day I met some students. Yes, I met some students who were from Fort Portal, 2 girls. They had been escorted by their mother to get space in a hall of residence. They had gotten the space, but they were under the condition that they were going to live in the hall for 6 weeks. Then what happens to them after 6 weeks?
Does that mean you pay half?
Yeah, they are paying 106,000
For the 6 weeks in
for
the
the
hall?
6 weeks. After which,
How about tuition? Are you paying half? Is there a tuition reduction?
no, those are the concerns that the students are raising, that if we are going to be on campus for 6 weeks and then go home and use
Data?
our own data
Yes.
and use our own spaces to pursue this education, then we cannot be paying
Full
the
tuition.
full amount.
Exactly.
Okay? If the full amount is 1.2 million, it has a breakdown that I am paying for Wi-Fi, I'm paying for the university hospital, I'm
University
paying for
library.
the library, I'm paying for the space, I'm paying for the cleaners, I'm paying for the water, but I'm going to be on campus for 6 weeks. So why am I still paying 1.2 million?
But wait, before we go there, how does the 6 weeks, because I'm thinking a semester goes for 4 months or 3 months, 3 to 4 months.
17 weeks.
So how does 6 weeks and how do those two correlate?
No, I've seen the semester calendar. They say you come on campus for 6 weeks, then you go home and proceed with the studies online.
Does that mean you are all reporting on campus on the same day for 6 weeks?
That's what, but is
No.
Yeah.
That is for a year. Let's say
Like
first
first
years
years.
are reporting for 6 weeks. Then when they go home,
Second year's
okay,
report.
as they are on campus for these 6 weeks, the other years are
doing online.
Are online. When these ones go to do online, the other ones come
Report
for
to campus.
physical.
Is there
like,
something unique that they are going to be doing in the 6 weeks that mandates them to come to the campus? Or it's just the same things that they're doing?
I think the university also knows that human interaction cannot be replaced
True.
with any form of technological advancement, what you hear the lecturer say and see the emotion with which he says it, and listen to his intonation, and
also give
interact
feedback,
with him, with her, can never be replaced with the Zoom. Can you hear me? Is my network clear? Is everyone? Can you raise your hand if you can hear me?
It's buffering.
Yeah, so
one primary teacher was complaining about online classes and was like, it is really hard. Because you will teach for like 15 minutes and then you'll be like, any questions? And then a kid will rise up and the hand and ask, teacher, do you have a cat? Something that is totally out of what you have done.
Teacher, we've not been hearing.
And yet the reality is this kid has not been hearing for the last 5 minutes. Yes.
And it is also context. The students are expected to go back home and study online in a country where data is very expensive. The other day I was complaining on Twitter with a service provider. I put on data 300 MBs and it was gone before I could log onto any network. I didn't know what was happening.
But
no, like that is what happened.
I mean, guys, this data.
Then I complained. They told me first switch off.
Your phone?
No, first switch off any other app that is running on background data. Then I did it. And I bought 100 MBs. And it was gone. Like, before I could answer their tweet. I was shocked.
Yeah, the lot of background apps gone.
No, like, there were no background apps, actually, incidentally. Yeah. So I was so shocked, but that's the context in which we are sending students to study in. And then other issues. The school is designed to support academic pursuit.
Yeah.
That design is not in our homes.
True.
I mean, we do not all live in those utopian homes. Okay? Some of us come from really modest backgrounds. Okay? We share rooms with children, with everyone. So the whole of residence is designed in such a way that there is a reading room, okay, there is an SCR library attached and all that. So, and the framers of the university setting were very awake to this. That is why it is the marketplace of thought. People are supposed to be there and think and write and do all these things. So we are asking, as UNSA, we ask the administration at Makerere University to give their students a chance to pursue their academics with limited interruptions, as the president ordered.
Let's look at it through the lens of the administrators. How many students are at Makerere University generally, the whole population?
What is officially communicated is around 37,000. 37,000.
Now, we have evening students
and day.
And day. Yeah. How many are in day? Should we say 50-50? Or day has more?
Day has
like 70. So there has 30%.
Yes.
So 70 of 37,000 would be approximately, maybe let's say 30,000. Do you think the social interactions would be good? For we know people will say, well, wear the masks. They won't wear the masks. Don't you think there would be a lot of spreading of COVID-19 in terms of if all these students came at once? Maybe let's just think through the lens of Mr. Nawangu.
I think it doesn't need 1,000 people or 2,000 people or 3,000 people to spread COVID. It just needs 2 people. And if one is positive and the other is negative, they will still spread it. So the idea that that a lecture room of 200 people is safer than one of 1,000 people is illogical. Because even if there are 5 and one is positive, they'll spread it to the others. So what the university should do is what UNSA has advised that we should do. For the last months, we've run a campaign about rapid COVID testing. It is the safest way to contain, because if you fight a disease without knowing where it is dangerous. So we have advised and we have engaged the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, to put up centers in schools for rapid testing. Let us test every now and then to know who is sick and who is not. It is bad to close a school, to close a classroom, because 2 people are positive.
Okay.
And then you send away 5,000 people back home. So let Makerere do rapid tests, and they have the facilities too. If they are if they asymptomatic cases, we test the people, we isolate the sick ones, and the others
Roy, it's easier said than done.
No, I think
you make it sound easy. I'm going to give Roy an example.
No, that is what is. Let me have my point land.
Okay, first.
That is what is being done elsewhere, and Makerere University has been a testing center. There is a university hospital. There are over 3,000 medical personnel at their disposal at any one point. And fortunately, we have trained over 3,000 Makerere University students.
Okay. You're talking about
COVAB students and medical students.
You're talking about it in a perspective of, you have the facilities. We have the logistics themselves. Because I'm going to tell you, according to Uganda, one COVID test is $25. Roy. So you want to tell me that they should do a mass rapid test for a university that is not even having a lot of resources to put in that particular budget? Don't you think that you are overstepping as well, over requesting? Because
no,
that's a lot.
Well, I think education is expensive. I also think that...
Should they add that to your tuition?
So you are actually saying the students should pay?
I also think that ignorance is more expensive.
Yes.
We cannot make a ruling or a judgment that the university and the country is so bankrupt as not to invest in the education of its people or the health of its people. Now, there are antigen tests that it's a new innovation and it's growing widely. If the thinking of the doctors that made it is that if a woman can test for her pregnancy in the bathroom, and you can test for AIDS in your bedroom, then we can test for COVID in those simple terms. So there is a strip test for COVID. And that is what we have been using for the trainings and for the tests in schools. Then for cases that, for people that present serious symptoms, those are the ones we can take for the other test. The blood test to where we eliminate and get the DNA of the virus and test it. But for this mass testing, we can use strips. It's about 2,500 each. And we are only...
Even students can afford.
No, even the university can afford. even the university.
We wait for the university, you can afford it, 2,500.
Yeah, and the university has put a provision for free testing for whoever feels they want to test and they feel symptoms. They feel symptoms. They can go and test at no cost.
So that means they are testing kits and there is
yeah,
money for testing.
Yes. So that is what we have advised, and some people have taken it on. And let's open fully and manage the cases as they come.
Okay. Yes. That is Mr. Roy Rugumayo. He is the Secretary General of UNSA, Uganda National Students Association. For those who have just joined in, we're having a discussion at what is happening in Makerere. The reopening is still in phases, though the economy was fully opened by the president, but Uganda's most celebrated university, it is the contrary. Students are expected to study for 6 weeks, and then the remaining time of the semester will be attended via Zoom, a new innovation that has helped young people, be able to continue with their education. So we're asking Mr. Rugumayo a lot of questions on how best does he think, or does the organization think we can actually, open up the economy or help the students of the land to continue with their education. Feel free to join the discussion. The hashtag is #MightyDrive on Facebook and on Twitter. Send us those comments. I have a couple of comments coming through here. I'll be reading them. But before we go in for a short commercial break, let me ask you, do you think this is a humble way of saying that non-vaccinated people should not enter the university? Because it looks like it's like, something that is underlying. It looks to be the underlying issue here.
Well, I think it has its human rights hindrances, the vaccination, the okugema okwobuwaze. But the students and the administrators have encouraged vaccination, and I think very many students have heeded to these calls. 70, if not 80% of the students in Makerere are vaccinated. And if we bring them all to university and keep encouraging vaccination and keep sharing information to those who are skeptical about the vaccination, and keep bringing vaccination closer to them, like we have been doing in the past. Bring it to the halls of residence, to their colleges. Many of them will get vaccinated, and the issue will come to pass. But I've not seen any communication that says that unvaccinated students will not access facilities at the university, at least not in any official capacities. I've not seen that communication. I think Makerere has still encouraged vaccination, which is good, and I also use this platform to encourage students. Please get vaccinated. It is, you do not get guarantee that when you get vaccinated, you cannot get COVID positive. But when or if you get COVID positive when you're vaccinated, the effects are milder and more containable. It is safe for you. It is safer for your friends and for the people you care about. It is the most sure way to have our institutions fully reopen and run without any form of hindrance. Please get vaccinated.
Okay.
Do you think the administration has some other hidden agendas as to why they don't want to fully open?
Well,
because what they have, the reasons you said they are illegitimate. So do you think they have some other hidden reason as to why they do not want to really fully reopen the university?
And I'm just requesting you answer that question after this short commercial break. Is there a hidden agenda? waliyo kye bakwese. That and much more is what you should expect in this edition of the Mighty Drive. Let's go in for a short commercial break. I also have a message here saying this extortion, if not tamed, the country is heading to a pit. And there is another gentleman who said even regime ministers are not vaccinated. Wow, Ugandans have a lot of information. Let's go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we continue with this gentleman. Even regime ministers are not vaccinated. Jesus. Let's go for a break.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Schools are open. Parents, guardians, have you prepared your adolescents that are pregnant and mothers for school? The government has given us national guidelines to assist with the responsibility of sending these girls back to school. Let us help to provide them with a safe, productive, and friendly environment for their learning. They are still our children living among us in our communities. Their pregnancies, becoming mothers before adulthood, affects them, their community, and our nation. All children have a right to education. Now, let's take them back to school because completing their primary and secondary school education is very important to their future careers, personal development, and being productive citizens of our nation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial. You don't want to know what we've been talking about. But it's an interesting discussion right here with Mr. Rugumayo. He is a youth like us, and every time we have young people on set, it's something that we enjoy, and it's a show that is always good. We're into the second hour of the show. You are watching The Mighty Drive. Remember, in the second hour, you get yourself an opportunity to call in live. The numbers will be rolling on your screen, 0789-017-145. You can call in live or you can send in those messages because I am seeing a couple of them. Thank you so much for watching. Brooke Williams, thank you. Nacha Rita, thank you. And everybody who is watching right about now, you are watching The Mighty Drive. Let's go straight to the question that Miss Farida Bukobere had asked you.
Well,
I cheat them just for courtesy of our new viewer.
Yeah.
Cheat them
Roy, do you think there is some other hidden agenda from the administration as to why they do not want to fully reopen the university?
Well, in my official capacity, I will communicate the positions that the university has communicated, and the students have also communicated about. I think both parties have fundamentally differing ideas about how to contain the virus. One thinks we can contain it when all of us are around and work together to get vaccinated, to get tested. The other thinks that in small numbers,
yes,
we can easily contain. As the Uganda National Students Association, we call upon the university to have more trust in its students, to practice the needed caution, just like the country is trusting primary school students and secondary school students to do the same.
Who you would think we would be more skeptical on them than on the older.
So if the country is putting trust on P1 pupils to be able to manage, Makerere should have the same trust for these adults. I believe in the legitimacy of the cause of the Students' Guild, and the Uganda National Students Association is following the happenings and is in solidarity with the students of Makerere University.
Okay, maybe just to pick your mind, Mr. Rugumayo, that isn't maybe this an innovation in terms of we learned because of COVID that there was an option of studying online. Don't you think this is coming from a perspective of why don't we continue with this particular endeavor, which we have seen to have helped various students, and maybe continue with this innovation and bring a hybrid system of education that you can do online and maybe do physical? Don't you think it's an innovation from in another way? Just thinking.
Well, we are not against innovation. We are not against progress. We are simply awake to the realities of the people we represent. Whereas it is ideal that students pursue their education online, as a country and as a society, we've not prepared the mechanisms and the infrastructure to support the same. We appreciate the strides that the universities and the country are taking towards addressing the gaps that currently exist. But we call upon everyone not to ignore the challenges that are also existent. Not all the students have the laptops or the smartphones,
the data,
or the data to continue with this. So let us not send them away. Let us not send the students with disability.
That is where I was coming.
Who cannot attend online classes for various reasons away from the education. Let us not send those who cannot afford smartphones and all this. Let us not send them away, because our constitution.
They even ask who live in remote villages.
Yes. yeah, we do not have the infrastructure to give all these students an equitable access to the same education. Unless we are being deliberate about creating a class society using this opportunity, where we have the not haves deliberately disadvantaged by this situation, so that there is a certain class that is advantaged to rule over these other majority, unless that is what all this is about. But if we are to follow the Constitution that gives the state a responsibility to create opportunities for everyone to access the highest standard of education possible, then we must remove these barriers.
Okay.
And we have presented ways to.
Then let's go into the ways that you have presented as UNSA. What are you suggesting? What are the alternatives apart from the mass vaccination? Because you've talked about the mass testing. What are you suggesting as UNSA in terms of rectifying this particular challenge?
We must be very deliberate about putting up infrastructure to support the access to education online if we need to. How many more internet masts have been put up ever since the lockdown began? How many laws have been formed to remove restrictions to access to data? In fact, a 12% tax was levied on the internet at a time when we were calling upon everyone to embrace online education. The current legal framework should be changed or should be tailored towards facing and overcoming this reality. I thought that at this time the government would enter memoranda with very many of these organizations, like enterprises like the Toshibas and the Dells and Who's, to have every student afforded a laptop at a subsidized cost. This country is not bankrupt as not to invest in its own future.
The laptops they had promised us.
Yeah,
So
that's where I was coming
during
to.
the lockdown, I had laptops going around and contributing.
That even when the taxpayers, through their representatives, put up some mechanisms to say, okay, our students are home, but let us afford them simple radios.
Yeah.
Where are they?
And they only produced 2 radios.
And there was...
they were the radios and TVs.
Yes.
The laptops were in Kenya. It was
I was being surprised. Like, who would promise Ugandans laptops?
The laptops, but he has not yet delivered. Yeah, it was
for us it was TVs and radios, and they only produced 2 radios.
And there was a budget for that. There was a budget.
Yes, that was actually
for that.
Yes, yes.
So as we move towards all these sustainable solutions, we should have the boldness to ask the serious questions the serious accountability questions about what we the taxpayers put aside in the past. So I've seen the regulations for Makerere freshers coming in, other than this staggered opening or full reopening. There is a new law at Makerere that for you to be a fresher, you must have a laptop. Yeah. At a time when the same university has said that the effects of COVID have been very adverse to the economy, and therefore we shall not have a 15% increment for the next 2 years, a move that we applaud.
Yes.
The same university cannot be saying that for you to join us, you must have a laptop. That's an additional 1.2.
And that is the minimum.
Yes.
Maybe to
So I think we all must be awake to these realities. Whereas we do not embrace them as the normal. That it should be normal that students in Uganda cannot afford data. That it should be normal that having a laptop is a privilege. No, it's abnormal in a 21st century. In any 21st century.
We are still, it is a privilege. Uganda is one of the 15 poorest countries in the world.
Sad.
Yes.
And
so
also Uganda is one of the most endowed countries in the world.
Yeah.
So like DRC is the most endowed country in the world. But
we could forgive them. We could forgive them for wars.
We have had the
but we have a country, we have a government that thumps its chest for containing wars, and that we have lived peacefully and progressively for the last 36 years.
Thumps its chest. They fought here, they fought in Rwanda, they fought in Somalia,
yes,
they fought in Sudan.
They have a reason to thump their chest.
Those successes
yes, please,
must translate into socio-economic transformation, and they must translate into what exists in the pockets of the citizens.
Thank you so much. I have to pick some messages from our viewers, and very, very true. You're talking about very, very pertinent issues. That is Mr. Roy Rugumayo. He is the Secretary General of Uganda National Students Association, and he's here talking about what is happening in the university that has made many, many people proud. 100 years from 1922. To 2022, Makerere has been in existence in this particular part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just go through some of your messages and keep them coming. A lot of scrutinizing messages from the gentlemen and ladies watching. Now, this guy is called JJ. JJ says, so shall we keep embracing a third education sector because there are those who can't afford or ensure to do so? Okay. Let's look at it in this angle. The country should not come up with policies that will bring about development because the policies don't support others. Anyways, what's your take on that, Roy? Policies can never favor everyone. That is Mr. JJ.
Okay, I appreciate Mr. JJ and his opinions. That are very classist. We are talking about policies that favor a minority over a majority. Whereas we cannot sit and castigate interventions meant to have a leap from one social strata to another. We must also tell whoever is bringing those policies that the people must move with those interventions. That ebizimbe tulindeko bimenya tusooke kuziba binnya mu nguudo. Okay.
A statement from Chagulanyi Center Robert.
No.
Oh, let me say from Bobby Wine.
It's a statement.
From Bobby Wine.
That eggwanga twagala likule. Era tukyenyumirizaamu nnyo ng'eggwanga likuze. Naye eggwanga likule n'abantu. Ti poliisi bw'eba ezze ng'ejja kutwetaagisa akakadde kamu n'ekitundu mu nsawo ng'ate ebisigadde ebiriwo ate byo bisobola okutuleetera emitwalo 5 mu nsawo. Eyo poliisi eba tekuze n'abantu. Ti waliwo ebintu bye twagala mu ggwanga naye bifevaringa abantu abasinga obungi. Si kibi buli muyizi okubeera ne laptop. In fact tukyenyumirizaamu nnyo naye tusobola okuzifuna mu ngeri ewa abantu abasinga obungi ebbeetu oba omukisa okutambula n'okutambulira mu eyo enkulaakulana. We have presented alternative interventions that let us subsidize on the cost of that laptop. When Makerere was increasing tuition by 15% per year for 5 years, we told them that it is a good thing because the reasons for which you need the money are legitimate. Mwagala mwina bye mwagala okuteekawo ebigendo tutwala mu maaso. Naye economy y'eggwanga ekulira ku 3%. Tewali muntu yenna afuna omusaala ogukulira ku 15% per year. Tewali. So nekyo nakyo tukifactoringe in nga bwe twagala okukula kubanga ffenna twagala eggwanga likule. Ffenna tewali atayagala nti buli muyizi abeere ne laptop naye bwebanga yakakadde kamu kitundu ng'ate
mugiteeke ku 7.
Mugiteeke ku 7, mugiteeke ku 5. Kuba bw'oba ozigula massively bazisalako. Tugambe nti eggwanga nga Uganda twagala Toshiba etukoleyo laptop obukadde 7. Kati mwe mutugambe nti buli omu ajja kuleeta ya 5 tujja zinoonya. Tetukinaako buzibu. Naye tosobola zuukuka lumu ng'omaze okumpa admission nti ate kati go and print out your admission letter. Nga nno bagitaddeyo ddi ku Sunday olw'omukaaga oluddako am expected okubeera ku campus. Ngenda okusoma ku admission letter nti jangu ne laptop. Nedda. Tebyalimu nze bwe nali nsaba admission. Nze nali mmanyi nti ngenda ku affordinga kino ne kino ky'oba olaba era najja ku Makerere n'ensaba edyuku. Singa nali mbisobola nandigenze nga ku UCU.
By the way, kasooka tusome message endala kwandabazi zino zeeyongedde okubanga zijja. Waliwo omwami bamuyita Rogers Tuliahabu agamba, you are talking about affording laptops to every student when they have failed to pay teachers and in government schools. Those schools are crumbling and people are paying taxes every day. So, Rugumayo, do you think the government that did not shy away from increasing internet tax at a time that Ugandans needed internet the most will consider buying laptops to all students? Is this realistically possible in your opinion? And maybe to just add on, Ms. Nachainerita says, where are the MP's contributions towards saving Ugandans? Should we think because there is not allowance and incentives in fighting for parents and students at public universities, that's the reason for not being pro-Ugandans? Tulabye nnyo. Let's start with Mr. Rogers today. He says the government has failed to pay its teachers in government schools and you expect it to help and subsidize and get for you a computer. Mr. Rugumayo, is this realistic? Those are the words of Mr. Tuliahabu.
I appreciate Mr. Triahabwe for putting aside time to share that opinion. We are speaking in the ideal and what should have been done. What should have been the solution to this matter? And these are our opinions, okay? Whereas on whether or not the government
can do it,
it
is up to them.
It is subjective from person to person, okay? But the government has shown us in the past that the matters of education have not been the heart of the matter, okay?
Yeah.
At a time, even matters of health, okay?
The heart of the matter is security.
Even at a time when we are facing a life-threatening pandemic and students and pupils, everyone was home, we did not see any other thing as a priority, at least in budgeting, okay? Because you see priority according to what money is put to.
Yes.
Kuba bw'obeera waka nga priority yo yakuweerera baana. Era sente oziteeka kuweerera baana, so si kukola ki?
Sigula motoka za bbeere.
So sigula motoka oba kwejalabya na kunywa mwenge.
Nakusimbula.
Nakusimbula. So kyandibadde kirungi era UNSA kiteekako nnyo essira nti ebintu by'oku the investment into the human resource capital of this country is very important. It is very important to leap forward in education. It is very important to leap forward in health and in every other sector. Okay. And we are continuing engagements with all authorities and interesting them to take these matters seriously.
Okay.
Kubanga byo tubyetaaga. Government eyinza okuba nga tebitaddeeko ssira, naye buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe okugenda mu maaso nga tubazuukusa. Kino kigasa, kiyamba ffe ffenna nti bwe tuteekako essira ku ky'okugema abaana obulwadde bwa pooliyo, kiyamba ffe ffenna bwe tuteekamu essira mu kukuza omutindo gw'ebyenjigiriza, kiyamba ffe ffenna. So newankubadde nti bannaffe abali mu gavumenti tebakitaddeeko nnyo ssira, tugenda mu maaso n'okubategeeza nti ne kino kya mugaso nnyo era tulina essuubi.
Hello? Yes, please. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Mighty Drive.
Yeah, good morning. This is JJ.
Yes, JJ, good morning.
So my issue is the issue of the laptop, like every student having a laptop at Makerere, that is a signed policy. You know, for any institution to develop, you should take strong policies. You get the point. I'll give you an example of UCU. When UCU was coming up with a laptop policy, every student was like, no, that's going to be expensive. We shall not afford network issues. But now look, it's an advantage to UCU. They are able to do online classes and they are moving at a very high speed. So I think with MOOC, they should cope up with the policy and see how to get the laptops. In Kampala, we have very many shops selling laptops. You can get that 70,000, and those that can afford university laptops can buy from the university. Otherwise, it's a nice policy and it would be of great help to the students actually, because it's going to be a student's laptop, not the university laptop. So I think actually UNSA should only support the policy, but now come up and say that, look, the prices the university is setting are a bit high, we could at least lower them down. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, JJ. Faridas, you're going to read for us some of the messages. I want Mr. Rugumayo to just reflect on what the gentleman has said. He talked about the picture of UCU, Uganda Christian University, but I just to maybe, I feel it's out of context because UCU is for I think the privileged, you know, society. The people, because the tuition is too much. Like, I think if to go to UC, you have to have some money, so you may be able to afford a laptop.
Now, of course, I appreciate JJ for his very helpful insights towards that laptop issue. And as I have said, I must repeat that UNSA is not against
any policy.
This progress, okay? We are only saying, as JJ has also clarified and or added, that let this be affordable and not discriminative to some of our students, or to many of our students that come from backgrounds that are not so much well-to-do. About UCU, I think there is a reason why Makerere is a public university and the other is not. So we appreciate the thought, we appreciate the intervention. We call upon the university and the concerned authorities to make this as affordable as possible. What UNSA stands for is every student being able to pursue their academic endeavors with minimal blockades. Okay? So we appreciate the views, and of course we shall engage more with the Students Guild. At least I've not seen so much coming from there about this particular issue. Perhaps internally there is a general acceptance. So we hope all the parties work together to make it work out.
Farida, please read us some more comments because there are many comments.
One Arafat says, the Vice Chancellor and the administration seem so detached to the reality and what the students go through. They have always wanted to dialogue with student leaders but have not respected the students' stand.
Definitely.
No, I've been a student of Makerere and I am a student of Makerere. So there is an aura of truth to that. But also in the past, we've seen engagements between the administration and the students that have worked out. Through dialogue, they have solved some of their issues, but through other forms of communication, they have solved other issues. Okay, so internally, they will find a way of handling those things. I have seen communications from the Students Guild calling for general assemblies in the various halls of residence, perhaps to consult from the actual students on many of these issues, so that when they meet the administration, they have a student's position. Though Makerere is not the only place where the Uganda National Students Association has jurisdiction. I received communication from our Students' Council in our various students' councils in technical institutions. As Uganda moves forward in preparing to harness the full potential of the oil industry, UTC Chichwamba has produced a document and a new tuition structure for courses in line with gas and oil and gas. And the cheapest is 9 million.
Per semester?
Yes.
Oh God.
9 million. So I don't know whether this oil and gas is intended to create opportunities for Ugandans. I will agree with the viewer that says some of these things are made so much out of context. Okay?
Yes.
Williams agamba, I have laptops for 600k, but students to baguzila tebagenda ziri
Williams adaino kaisao.
So otandise okwadvertising program yaffe tujja kusasuza obulango naye tetwagala ziri used. Bagala new laptop.
Like we have a choice. Yes, right now, continue.
So, Chichwamba and other technical institutions have entered a partnership with government and other institutions. So the World Bank Group, to train Ugandans on how on opportunities, on various opportunities that are in the oil and gas sector, and they are giving them hands-on experience.
But are they just buying?
Employable hands-on experience.
I don't know if that's just buying the job, because 9 million, that's a lot of money.
No, that's not for you to get the job.
It's
That's for you to be
art,
trained.
the craft
of
gas.
getting the job. So,
it's like you're buying a job.
Are these policies made in the context of the actual Ugandan society? I mean,
a society that lives on less than $1 a day.
Yes. Unless, as I have said, these opportunities are being created and gazetted for a certain class of people.
Yes.
And unless that is what they are saying. But if we are to follow the equal opportunities laws that exist in this country,
yes,
then we cannot be offering a course at 9 million, at 10 million. Actually, I saw one at 12 million. When we go into the commercial break, I'll get the poster advertising for people to apply at UTC Chichwamba, particularly. Then I'll share the breakdowns.
Okay. Wow.
But it is saddening that the government is in this. And UTC Chichwamba is a public institution.
So that thievery.
So even if they are saying these 3 or 4 courses are a new design for this particular thing with these new partners, who is it made for? It should be the question.
That's a rhetorical question. Let's first continue with some messages there, Ms. Farida, as we come to wind up, because I want us to pick his mind on other issues happening in our country.
Young man Katoagam, we have been in lockdown for 2 years. What has UNSA been doing to raise such issues now as the economy is fully open? You have been enjoying the lockdown as well.
Enjoying is an overstatement.
My road, I wonder.
Yes. Young man Katoa.
So that's all he said.
How do you, Rogers, that's all he says. Okay. Rogers, we have agamba, how do you even have X type of students with Y type of interests and Z different talents and throw them in the same pot and teach them the same stuff? That is where a future footballer, a future football player gets diagnosed with ADHD because he can't pay attention in a history class, and a future designer can't go to the university because he failed chemistry, divinity and physics, and their GPA isn't sufficient. Our problem is entrenched in our system, and until that changes, we are in this for a long haul.
Reminds me of the governor. I'm here for the long haul.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, so may his soul rest in peace. The first question, or the first opinion about where has UNSA been in all this?
You've been enjoying
the
lockdown of 2 years.
And I don't think that is true. It is not true about our predecessors. They were around the country supplying food to students that were stranded in their hostels. You know, no one prepared for COVID, and when it came, everyone ran to catch the different parts that were falling apart. But even before the full reopening of the economy, UNSA has been raising these various issues about the education sector. I think if the comrade was following, he should have seen a campaign about girls going back to school, regardless of their condition when schools reopen. He must have seen
whether
pregnant or not. UNSA was at the forefront of that push, that whether they are breastfeeding, whether they are pregnant, whatever it is that they are now,
they should report
they
for as
should
long
go
as they are
back to
willing
school for as long as they are willing.
Which very many religious leaders have challenged your
Yes,
opinion.
they are. It is open to discussion, like every other issue.
Okay.
They have freedom to express their discontent, but at least we've engaged whoever is in this country about that issue. And when you see pregnant girls in class and breastfeeding young girls given the opportunity to go back to school, please do appreciate the contribution of the Uganda National Students Association for that push.
Yeah, it was a good one.
When you see schools open, you should appreciate us a little, if you have the grace to, for our push to say schools should reopen regardless of the COVID situation, and let's have school-based maintenance of the mild cases. Let's only refer the higher cases to medical staff and for further referral. But whatever the COVID situation in the school is, let's stay them open, let's do rapid testings and all that. And we have trained students from around the country, from medical backgrounds, to help in that endeavor. That if a school calls now, we have 10 people we can give a call to right now from any part of the country to run to that school and test the students and manage the mild cases in that school's setting. Okay. At least thank us a little for that.
Yeah.
And we are trying to have very many of these parts catch up. Okay. Right now we have the conversation on the budget.
The budget framework.
The budget framework.
43 trillion.
Yes. Now, UNSA is working together with the Makerere University Convocation and other specialists to come up with a paper on what we think should be the priority in education. We've seen schools in a very bad shape, falling apart literally. We've seen teachers who are not able to go back to school because perhaps they find it more lucrative to ride borders. All these issues can be managed through giving priority to education. And we are going to engage the Budget Committee of Parliament, we are going to engage the Parliamentary Youth Forum, we are going to engage everyone in this country to have education as a top agenda as we plan in this budget for this country.
Mr. Rugumayo,
yes.
we have like 10 minutes, so allow me first, let's first read these comments and make sure you maybe reflect to all of them. Maybe Petina Angel Wanga says, personally, when I was a student last year, Zoom was not easy for me in that I mean to understand online needs a lot of time, and you find that lecturers were really fast. I missed most of the classes given a fact you are home all day, reluctant. So even when you set an alarm, you sleep late because you're home all day. Zoom is expensive both with money and to live with it. Now, Mr. Brooke Williams also says, not only students, government should continue distributing vaccines to all Ugandans. Then Nacho Inorita says, this extortion, if not tamed, the country is heading to a pit. And then that brings me to Mr. Brooke Williams, who said, even regime ministers are not vaccinated. Do you want to reflect on those remarks?
Okay, we should continue to encourage everyone to get vaccinated, whether a regime apologist or whoever it is. We should all get vaccinated because this COVID has shown us that it is not segregative on who it kills and who it spares.
Whether you're in
government, when schools were closed, NRM students were not in school either. Other than, no, of course I mean NRM students, the ones we share a social class with. Yes. Please, honorable ministers, get vaccinated as well.
It is safe for you.
It is safe for you. Perhaps we have a very big cabinet. If there were 23, we would know who is vaccinated and who is not by now. But with 80 and others, and we perhaps he could be running on a thesis that can be proven. Then
Bettina talks about
Luanga, about how expensive it is, both monetarily and otherwise, to use these Zoom and other interventions. I know of lecturers who have only lectured during those weeks of physical opening.
The 6 weeks?
Yes. They do not know about Zoom, or they have chosen not to know about Zoom, or they do not have the facilities to hand on Zoom. They call the class coordinator and say, come to class, they teach you. After that, go home, you'll come back and do the exam.
So the lecturer does not have data as well.
Maybe they don't have a laptop.
Perhaps they, yes. And recently, actually just recently, about 3 weeks back, Makerere was training lecturers on how to use these online platforms, which have been used for an entire year. So how have they been doing it? So we appreciate this change. We need it. We totally need it. But we need to prepare for it. We need to train the students. So, okay, they train the lecturers. Who train the students?
You learn on your own.
Yes, you have to
learn on your own.
Yes, so we need to bring everyone on board so that we can all enjoy the luxury of the change.
You remind me of 2020. I was also in my last year at university when we went in for the lockdown. And then our lecturer had an innovation to keep us thriving. And what he was doing is was recording voice notes and sending in the WhatsApp group. Up to now, that method failed to work. Mr. Chamber of Dala, it failed to work.
And those who are not
on notes and phone.
Yeah, so he records a voice note for like 4 minutes. Then he records like 10 voice notes. So you're waiting for this.
And those are 28 minutes. And what about those ones that what about those ones that are not on WhatsApp? How were you catering
they were
for
not
them?
Studying. It was only the fortunate ones who had the
They were saying the edigers who have smartphones for them the coursework.
Education cannot be left to the fortunate because the building of this country needs every hand on deck.
But have you realized that these days education has been left to the fortunate?
Which is sad and very condemnable, because the moment we do not educate our people, even the educated will not be sleeping because the uneducated are not sleeping.
Yes.
Because you cannot sleep with your bens outside when someone is awake. Okujjako akataala yagenda akatunda afune emmere. Yes, yagenda afune emmere kubanga ye inspiration ye eri basic survival nonya kyakulya ku olwo. So naawe in your striving to reach self kugamba waliwo level gy'otuuka kati ng'oli ku oyagala otuuke nga kati gwe ebiruubirirwa byo byakutuuka ku self actualization tebikyali ku mmere tebikyali wakusula tebikyali ku mukwano nedda kati bw'obanga oyagala okutuuka ku self actualization nga wakyaliwo abakyali ku basic survival mmere kyakulya naawe tojja kufuna ki ojja kubeera mu jaamu ne hama omwana agibbeko akataala.
Kituufu. Olwo omukono gwe gyo bamubbeko amataala ga benzi.
Yes,
alina mukulaba sho agambye awakinga wano.
Nti eggwanga likule naye likule n'abantu tukule ffenna. Sinti Uganda njavu nnyo nti walina kukulawo 1%. Ffenna tusobola okukulira ku
wamu. And Rugumayo, I'm thinking the effects of what is happening now will be felt a few years from now, maybe 20 years, where you have that education inequality, where some were going to school, then there are those who didn't go to school because some had the facilities to go to school, others did not have the facilities.
Yes, chibi tujja kubeera mu Victorian society. Chibi. So abatukulembera oba abatufuga simanyi oba bakyatukulembera let's wake up to these realities nti kijja kuba kibi nnyo eggwanga mwokujjukirwa nga abaatuuse eggwanga wano kibi nti abaana n'abazzukulu tubeeko kye tubalekera whereas we cannot create a society of equals nga Lenin bw'akyogerako facilities weziri abantu okukulira awamu.
Okay, kansome wano ku message mpola mpola. Jagman Kato agambe, the problem we are facing as a country is being led by wakasome, I think, for
being led by the uneducated.
Okay. The problem we are facing as a country is being led by uneducated and selfish leaders. How can you trust a hyena to keep meat and think your meat is safe? Anyway, who cares? If it was a search for votes, your MPs are silent as parents and students are fighting alone. Katuna Lesemba legislator wafe. Then ono Brooke Williams agambe najisomye Ashura. Ono mchala labanyo Osheno agambe good morning over there, please. I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much. Honorable Musao Lilian Nakakande. Wow. Honorable Musao, thank you for watching. Agambia, we need to always take responsibility to report, protect and promote social services. Then naturally, Agambia, our educationists seem unbothered with the future. After all, their kids are in international schools and abroad universities. But this is dangerous for the future years, more so after being affected by a 2-year lockdown. God have mercy. Then onagambye okulya abantu ensangi zino kunyinyitidde banange okulya abantu okulya erakayi kunji. I'll give you that report tomorrow. Nache ine Rita yagambe I'm on now. Innocent Ainebiona from Luengo Kwali tumusime Kato agamba good morning today, thank you for the show. Rogers Turaha agamba arise and shine. Good morning Uganda ono bamwita Jemix Pro banange muri banji nnyo message nyingezaako okuzimalayo ku banda bakadde katutwala kanti ndigwa kandabani gwe sitasomye wano. I think that is it. That is probably it. Onagambe Mwanga Arafat, listen to this one. What kind of students go through MOOC?
I think he was replying to JJ.
Someone, yes.
Yes. I think JJ yamalizanga akigala agamba tugambireko n'omukulu alekulira entebe aturoyi omukulu
ani gwabagambira ani amugambira ko royi
mburoyi amugambireko abakulembeze
royi omukisa kutwale
onagambe that's when we shall develop and not grow. Ono Brooke Williams asindise message agambye Museveni agents in brackets parliamentarians are quiet mwalonda bulungi nnyo mwabalonda abali mu parliament bana bude butuweddeko Mr. Roy Rugumayo tugambire ku mukulembeze w'eggwanga oba okikiriza ng'enno sibule
neyanza nnyo okumpa akakisa kano okubeera wano. I think as a country there are some issues that should not be partisan issue. Oba oli wa NRM, oba oli waki, oba oli wa NUP, oba oli wa DP, ensonga ezikwata ku byenjigiriza by'abaana baffe tezandibaddemu kyekubiira mu bibiina oba mu ddiini oba mu mawanga. Ebintu ebirimu ebyobulamu tebyandibaddemu bintu bya kyekubiira. So nkubiriza abakulembeze abatutwala oba abatufuga nti tuteekewo nnyo essira okukuza eggwanga, at least bali tujjukirira ku ekyo. Ebisigadde biyinza okubanga biyongobedde naye wabeewo ligase nti tulijjukirirwa ku kino. Such a time presents another opportunity okuteekawo enkyukakyuka ey'omuggundu. Ng'ekitongole ky'abayizi we are organizing a dialogue. Ndowooza tukuŋŋaanye abantu bonna bekikwatako mu ggwanga lino. Parliamentarians buli omu balinako akakunkuna saawa zino. The educationists ababadde mu sector eno for a long time, lecturers, student leaders, students, teachers, parents, tuwogere ku bigenda mu maaso ku byenjigiriza by'eggwanga. The squalor that is in our schools, otuuka ku ssomero nga yo roof eyagala kubagwira ate bakole eki munnaye? Abamu basomera wansi wa miti. There are other issues ezibaddewo nga zijja abaana mu masomero nga ne COVID tenajja. Sanitary towels mazima ddala in such a time and era abaana bandibadde tebakyava mu masomero lwa sanitary towels
nga bangi. So COVID just etuwaddemu emyaka ebiri okutuula ne twekuba mu tooki nti naye mazima ddala mu 21st century abantu oli yandibadde ayina enjoka mu lubuto ti oli atuuka n'okugamba nti anze enjoka zange tezikyanywa mata enjoka nga so zagulumiza okutuuka awo enjoka zange nti envunza mazima ddala envunza kyezikola abantu b'eshemba
kibi nti saawa zino
tukyalina obuntu bwe tukyaliko.
Yes, nti omuntu yayandiradde alya munne mu guno omwaka nedda. So tulina
muguno omwaka bakyalina okuba nga batokyalinga bannayuganda.
Exactly, nti omuntu asobola okgenda nti omuyizi wa Cavendish Kakwenza Rukira Abaseija asobola okgenda ku Twitter n'abaako kyayogera n'omutulugunya mu mwaka nga guno nedda awantu awo tulina ovaawo ng'eggwanga ne tugamba kati waliwo threshold below which tetukyasobola kugendawo
ne wano naffe tulina okuba nga tuvaawo kuba akadde kakano katututte webale kubanga otwegattako buli ssaawa entakera. It's always a privilege having you on the show, a very, very bright and intellectual mind right here. Farida Bikobere, thank you so much for joining us as well. It's always a privilege working with you and serving with you in this particular endeavor. Akatalekeka simanyi tuwa katalekeka chi kachikuonyumirwa nga toli bya politics. Toli mu UNSA. Toli mu politics. Amabala bagagudde. Just
chogamba nsimbule.
Wetegesi.
Neyanza nnyo bannange, neyanza abategesi n'abantu abakolera wano ku Digitalk. Kirungi nnyo okubanga tulina omulembe gw'Abannayuganda abaagala era nga batambula at this rate okuteekawo enkyukakyuka. Nti enkyukakyuka teri ya mu bukulembeze bwokka, nti osobola okuzuukuka no expandinga space mu media. Neyo nayo nkyukakyuka. Tweyanza nnyo naddala abantu bonna abazuuka nga bo baagala okuteekawo ekisingako ku lw'eggwanga lino. Tiri eggwanga lyaffe ffenna era buli omu alina okukola buli ekisoboka mu buyinza bw'alina okulifuula ekisingako. All of us, let's make our modest contributions towards making this country a better place for ourselves and for our children. I thank the organizers, I thank the conveners of this space for this opportunity to me and to the students of the country to always come around and share these ideas, share these platforms for the better of the country. May God bless you and may God bless the People's Republic of Uganda.
Okay. Netoze mshibuzo chaffe.
Kikyonyumirwa okukola mu biseera
by'eddembe.
Mu biseera byange eby'eddembe ntera okwogerezeganya n'abantu. Creating new friendships and expanding my network of friends.
So that's your hobby?
Yes. Nange ntera okusimbula era ntera osimbula era okubiibya ku gali benjole kinkolera nnyo.
Bagamba omukopi tobiibya gali benjole enjole bayakabaka.
Ssaabasajja Kabaka wangaali.
Enjole bayakabaka kuba obiibya gali b'omulambo.
Okay guys, thank you so much. I worked with Mr. Roy Rugumayo and Miss Farida Bikobere. Thank you so much. I had Mr. Jacob on camera, Mr. Rogers on camera as well. Then Teddy Tenjo Nabukira is my producer of the day. Kato Tumsime is the director, Jeremiah Muchivi, and of course the big man himself, Arnold Mukose Anthony. And of course, to our viewers, it's always you who do the great work. We cannot do what we do if you're not there with us. Continue following us on our social media platforms at The Alternative Uganda. That is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, TikTok at The Alternative Uganda. You can still follow me as well at Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. That is on Facebook at Edgar M. Karuhanga. On Twitter at Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. On Instagram. I'm not yet on TikTok. I will come soon, because TikTok is actually very, very fun. Enjoy the rest of your morning. We shall meet up tomorrow. The ladies will be here and myself serving you till the end of the week. My name is Edgar. Good morning, Uganda.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.